Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for this month's 20-minute virtual coffee talk. My name is Dakota Eason, and I am your St. Tammany Parish Business and Career Solutions Center Business Services Representative. Well, I'd like to go ahead and get started with this month's topic because it is a packed one. This is going to be on work opportunity tax credits. As we all know, our W-2s and all are going out for our employees right now, and we wanted to go ahead and share with you business owners and HR managers how to go ahead and save your businesses some money around tax time. So we'll go ahead and get started. Before we do, though, I'd like to go ahead and make you all aware of an upcoming event that we're very happy to host. This is actually going to be our second annual North Shore Spring Forward Job Fair. We're going to have that on April 4th. It's going to be from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Harbor Center in Slidell. We will be sending out more information about this event coming up very soon, but we do hope to have at least 90 employers there. And on our last job fair, we did have upwards of 600 job seekers there of varying occupations and backgrounds. So it should be a very great event if you're looking to do some hiring right now. So we'll go ahead and jump right in and talk about the work opportunity tax credit, give you a little bit of insight about it in case some of you are unaware of it, and give you some of the aspects of the program that are going to be very beneficial if you're employing individuals who are disadvantaged in any way. So the benefits for the hiring manager or business owner for special populations include a $1,200 to $9,600 tax credit. It's going to range between that amount, depending if you're hiring individuals who are TANF or SNAP recipients, if you're hiring veterans or ex-offenders, persons with disabilities, and we'll go into some of those a little bit more in detail, individuals that live in designated communities, as well as those who have been unemployed for a long, extended period of time. We'd like to go ahead and share with you one link that you can go ahead and visit. It's going to be www.laworks.net/WOTC. This is actually a fantastic link that you can go ahead and visit, and we'll actually show you a lot of the forms that are necessary for you to go ahead and take advantage of this tax credit. So if you want to know, hey, I'm a business owner, I'm an HR professional with my company, or whatever the case may be, and I want to know whether or not my company can receive work opportunity tax credits. The way that you're going to do that is you want to make sure that you are either a 501c3 nonprofit. You can actually qualify for a reduction in your Social Security employment payments, so those are actually not going to qualify for the work opportunity tax credit itself. But if you are a private for-profit employer, you are more than likely going to be eligible for this tax credit. The employer must have hired qualified, eligible individuals from one of 10 target groups that we'll go ahead and discuss a little bit further. But as long as your business is going to be going ahead and turning a profit through the sale of goods or products of some sort or services, then you are going to be eligible to receive that tax credit. So here are those 10 target groups. I'm going to go into them very briefly here in a little bit more detail further on. But if you're hiring an individual that has been a TANF recipient, if you have hired a veteran either who has been disabled or who is not disabled, that doesn't really hold a bearing as long as they're a veteran, an ex-felon, someone who has a criminal background, some criminal charges, in their background. We can look into also for those individuals getting you some assistance as far as bonding. The Louisiana Workforce Commission has free bonding up to $25,000 for employers to take advantage of if you're a little cautious or concerned about hiring an ex-felon. If they live in a designated community, this can be a low-income community, a part of town that is actually in influx. Maybe they have some issues with businesses really going to those areas. As long as you have a individual who lives in one of those residential areas, you can possibly qualify for the tax credit. If you're going to hire an individual that has been referred to you for vocational rehab, those individuals will most likely, again, be eligible for the tax credit. Summer youth, anyone who has received SNAP benefits, a Social Security recipient, anyone who has had a long-term familial receipt of TANF, they will actually qualify as well, and any individuals who have been long-term unemployed. What I'm going to do for you all as well, if need be, is we can go ahead and send out this PowerPoint once we're done, and there are various links that you can go ahead and click on to give you more description as to what these 10 target groups are, as well as what they are considered as far as the tax credit for each one of them. So we can go ahead and send out that information as well. This PowerPoint is also going to have live links to the different IRS forms that you're going to need to add to your hiring packet so that you can go ahead and take advantage of these tax credits. So the tax credit maximum amounts. So if you look here, this is going to show you, and this is actually saying this is effective from January 1st, 2015. I want to kind of put a caveat in there. Sometimes the federal government will go ahead and put a pause on some of these tax credits. It happens quite frequently, actually, where you know, they'll kind of put out a wide announcement that, hey, these tax credits are not going to be valid anymore, you're not going to be able to take advantage of that. I would always suggest, even in times when you're hearing that from your federal government, go ahead and still complete the tax credit forms. Again, there's going to be 2 IRS forms, and we'll go into those in just a second. But what often happens is that they'll go ahead and say, hey, we're not going to go ahead and honor these tax credits, and then 6 months, 8 months, 9 months down the road, they'll say, hey, no, we'll go ahead and go ahead and take these tax credits now. The good thing that happens, though, is if you are an employer and you're going ahead and still filling out these forms or having your employees, I should say, fill out these forms when they're being hired, keep them on file. What will happen is, more than likely, when the government does say that they're going to go ahead and accept those tax credits, they'll go ahead and credit you retroactively. So, again, so looking at these funds, again, you're kind of looking here, you can range anywhere from getting a $1,200 tax credit for a summer youth all the way up to a $9,000 tax credit for a long-term TANF recipient. So it's very important, though, even if you do hear from your federal government that they're not going to be accepting these, I would say 9 times out of 10 they're going to go ahead and accept them retroactively. So do go ahead and have your oncoming employees go ahead and fill these out. But again, like I said, they range from $1,200 to $9,600. Any individual who is service-connected disability that have been unemployed for 6 months, that's where you'll have the largest possible tax credit of $9,600 for those individuals. So it's very important to go ahead and have all your employees fill these out when they're onboarding. Again, because you'll never know how much you could be leaving on the table by not completing or having your employees complete these. So, if you want to know how the tax credit is calculated, generally they're going to be equal to 25 or 40% of your new employee's first year's wages, up to the maximum for the target group which the employee belongs to. So you want to go ahead, and if you're not sure where that calculation lies, you're going to go back to the previous slide that I showed you. Look at whatever target group that your employee fits within, and it's either going to be that maximum that is listed for the target group, or it's going to be equal to 25 or 40% of that new employee's first year's wages. So that's how you can kind of figure that out. For all target groups except for long-term TANF recipients, employers will earn 25% if the employee works at least 120 hours. and 40% if the employee works at least 400 hours. And again, that's going to be in that first year time frame of them working for you. For the long-term TANF group, employers will earn 40% if the employee works at least 400 hours in that first year, and 50% if the employee works for at least 400 hours in the second year. So again, kind of like I was telling you all, if you have a situation where you're seeing that the government is going ahead and putting an addendum or a pause, per se, on those tax credits, again, you never know, but like I've seen it, 9 times out of 10 where they'll go ahead and retroactively pay you that. As you can see, this is going to last for a couple years now, depending on whatever target group you're hiring from. So it's very important to have those individuals complete the forms that I'll share with you a little bit later. And so here is the application process for an employer. The first step you're going to want to do is register your company online. Then you're going to have your individuals complete IRS Form 8850 and ETA Form 9061. Both of these, again, are going to have live links when I send out the presentation. You're going to make a copy of any supporting documentation that is necessary. You're going to submit that to the Louisiana Workforce Commission. You'll then receive either a letter of approval or denial. If you do get an approval, you'll get a certificate of confirmation. And if you get a denial, you'll also get a certificate letting you know why it was denied. And then you're going to go ahead and submit this whenever you submit your business's taxes for review by the IRS. So to go into a little bit more detail, again, first step is you're going to make sure as an employer, as a business owner or an HR professional, you want to visit www.laworks.net/WOTC. You'll see the screen shown here, and you'll be able to go ahead and register yourself as an employer that is seeking to receive those federal income tax credits. Your next step is to have your applicant complete, again, the IRS Form 8850, which is going to be the pre-screening notice and certification or request for work opportunity tax credit. You're also going to have them fill out the ETA Form 9061, which is going to get some background about the individual's eligibility status. And you're going to make sure that you electronically file these within 28 days after the new hire start date, no later than 28 days after doing that. A best rule of practice that I've seen is on the employee's very first day of employment, have them complete these 2 forms. The original signatures are going to be required of both the job seeker, or the employee, I should say, as well as the applicant. So do make sure that you keep those originals. That is going to be very critical when going ahead and submitting them for approval. You want to go ahead and make sure that you're making copies of the documentation used to determine what target group your new employee is going to fit into. So whether it be a copy of their Social Security card, their driver's license, W-4, their DD-214 if they specifically are a wounded veteran, or you want to make sure that you have their DD-214 form. If they're an ex-felon, you want to make sure that you have a letter from the Department of Corrections. So you want to go ahead and make sure you keep a copy of that with the IRS forms. The next thing you want to do is submit that documentation to the Louisiana Workforce Commission online within 28 days of that hire date. You want to, again, make sure that you are submitting those to the website that you visited when you registered yourself as an employer. Again, that's going to be laworks.net/WOTC. You're going to go ahead and send them that IRS 8850, the ETA Form 9061, along with any supporting documentation. It's also very critical that you retain original copies in your personnel files for any employee that you're going ahead and requesting tax credits for. Make sure that you do hold on to a copy of it. Sometimes you will be sequestered for that information, maybe during tax time or something like that, but do make sure that you keep that. I would not depend on the Workforce Commission to keep those files. They are going to be submitted, but As we all know, technology is not always perfect, so you want to go ahead and have a backup for yourself as well. The next thing that's going to happen is after you have registered yourself as an employer, you've gotten your employee to fill out the necessary forms, they have gotten you their supporting documentation, you're going to go ahead and be receiving a letter of certification of confirmation. This is actually what that form looks like. It'll be, again, from the Louisiana Workforce Commission. It'll let you know what target group the individual fell within, and it's also going to tell you what the phone number is, the date of completion, all that good stuff, so you can have that for your records. That is going to be in a form called ETA 9061, WOTC, Employer Certification. This is what's going to be necessary, again, when you're filing your taxes, to let your tax professional know that, yes, you are eligible for however many tax credits that you are eligible for. If for some reason you have submitted the IRS forms on the Louisiana Workforce site website, and the individual does not either fall into the assigned work opportunity tax credit target group, or they do not have the right supporting documentation, you will receive a denial letter. And that's why it's, again, very critical that you go ahead and submit that very soon after the hire date, because if there are any issues where maybe they just got you the wrong copy of something, you want time to go ahead and be able to do some kind of appeal. If you can, go ahead and access the correct documentation. The next step is going to be submit that information to the IRS. So you as an employer are going to go ahead and claim this on your income taxes. The credits will be figured on the IRS form 5884 and then become part of your general business credit claim on IRS form 3800. So those two will be sent to you as well, so you can get an idea of what kind of tax credits you can look forward to receiving. So in a nutshell, it's really important. These are dollars that are constantly being left on the table where employers are not taking advantage of the credits that are available to them. Typically, larger companies we see are using them, but mom and pops, those organizations where maybe there are even 50 employees or less, I see it quite often in my travels and in my talks with business owners and HR professionals where they don't know that this is a credit that's available to them. And if you can think about it, if you hire, say, 10 individuals and all 10 of them are recently separated veterans, that's about $90,000 in tax credits that your business is missing out on if you are not completing these two forms. So it's something that is critical, especially in these times. Again, as long as you visit laworks.net /WOTC and register your business online, have your new employees complete the two forms, Form 8850 and 9061. Make that a part of your regular hiring packet. Every new person you have that comes aboard your team, have them complete these. It's very important. And make sure that within 28 days of their hire that you have these forms uploaded, as well as any supporting documentation that is necessary. So I'm going to actually give you a contact here. This is for our local work opportunity tax credit coordinator, Mr. Tommy Levitano. You can go ahead and email him at WOTC@lwc.la.gov if you have any questions about this program. He is going to be very knowledgeable and be able to answer any questions that you may have. The website is very simple to use, the laworks.net site to go ahead and register. But again, if something comes up and you're not 100% sure how to proceed, you can definitely go ahead and reach out to Tommy and he should be able to assist you further. So we wanted to finish up by kind of giving you guys a little bit more about Tri-Parish Works and what we do. We do go ahead and post job openings on our website. This is going to be a free job posting opportunity for any of you who are looking to save a little money on your job postings, as opposed to some of the third-party sites that you can use. You can use ours for free. We do also do employee recruitment and screening for you at no charge. We offer reimbursement of wages through on-the-job training. This is another one of those ones where employers are leaving dollars on the table. We are actually working with a few companies right now in St. Tammany Parish that are both equaling up to, or actually more than $50,000 in reimbursements that they've gotten from us very recently. We can give you information on tax credits, again, like I'm doing here, labor market information. These are all things that are available to you at no fee. And if you need some additional, more in-depth business services, we can also do those according to what they are at a very slight nominal fee. So again, we want to go ahead and thank you for joining us. The second Friday of each month, we're going to go ahead and send these out. Next month, we're going to be talking about how to recruit online using the HIRE system. That's going to be on March 8th, again, the second Friday of the month. You can go ahead and register by visiting www.triparishworks.net, and we'll add you onto our email contact list whenever we send these out. We're always looking for more topics, so if you have a workforce topic that you'd like us to discuss, please feel free to email myself at the link you see here before, deeson.laworks@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you all about what you want to learn next. And here are going to be a couple of our business consultants' contact information. So you can either reach out to myself, Dakota Eason, in St. Tammany Parish. We also have Beverly Doty. She's also a St. Tammany Parish Business Services representative. And if you are a business owner in Plaquemines or St. Bernard Parish, you can speak to Miss Cindy Graff. She can go ahead and assist you in any way possible. And that is all we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again so much for joining us today. We look forward to serving your businesses in any way that we can, and we look forward to hearing from you all next month. Thank you. Bye-bye.